Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Broken Boys. This is episode 185. I'm Mike.
I'm Colin.
Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about the album discography of Lucy Dacus, one third of Boy Genius. Yeah, great songwriter. But we'll get
Oh yeah,
into that in a little bit. Before we do that, we got a lot of various news things to cover this week.
sure.
But before that, even, how's it going, Colin? How are you? How are you feeling?
Well, got down with the sickness
Oh, ooh,
yesterday.
yeah.
Nice little head cold out of nowhere. Don't really know where it came from. Thursday evening, I started feeling. I had this feeling in my throat that was like that could hurt at some point, and I was like, "Uh
It
oh."
hurts.
And then I woke up for work yesterday, and I was like, I feel not the best, but I could make it through work. It'll be fine. And then just throughout the day, throughout work, I was like, oh,
Oof.
uh, this is
Being like that
not good.
at work is the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, not good. Especially, I was like, first I was in the hole taking orders and money,
Mm.
so I was having to talk a lot, which like my throat wasn't a fan of. And then I was put on bagging for drive through, so I was over a hot plate, which was like also not great.
Yeah.
Um, but I went on break and I was like, okay, eating and sitting down will help me feel a little bit better. I went on break and I was like, whoa, I feel worse now.
Mm.
I, I don't know what happened. I was like, okay, well, and then Max was like, do you want me to stay for the rest of your shift and you can go when I'm supposed to go? And I'm like, at first I was like, no, I don't want you to have to do that. I can make it through. And then like in the hour leading up to when she was supposed to leave, I was like, oh God, this is awful.
Yeah.
So I was like, would you do that for me? A little twisting my toe on the ground
Yeah. Yeah.
in front of me. And she's like, yeah, of course. And I was like, okay, thank you.
Did you give the puppy eyes too?
Of course, of
Okay.
course.
Yeah.
And so I went home, took some Tylenol, and I took a short nap before she came back. And I was like, all right. And the nap helped a little bit, but
Mm.
as the night went on, it was not great. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do podcasts tonight.
Yeah.
And you were like, that's all good. Don't worry about it. And I was like, oh, what a sweetheart. But
Mm.
you know, I called off today from work, which is in a little over a year that I've been working there. It's the first like official time that I've called off.
Yeah.
So good for me.
Yeah.
Though I am gonna get written up for it because if you call off on the weekend, if you don't have a doctor's note, you're gonna get written up. So
Wow.
that's fine. But
Yeah.
first time calling off, I'm like, whatever. I don't really care. And throughout the day, I started feeling better because I was able to relax and chill out.
Not
So
talk to customers.
yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
Instead,
so
you get to talk for a long podcast. Woo.
woo, uh, but no, it's okay. But yeah, just like I felt better throughout the day, and I feel better, a lot better than I did yesterday and last night. I was very restless throughout the night last night. Just could not get to sleep, and then at some point I finally like found that sweet spot for laying down. I was like, oh, there we go. I
Mm.
slept a couple nice hours, but otherwise this week I Fortnite. We watched a couple movies. We watched a couple rewatches. We watched Nightmare Before Christmas,
Mm.
which always in my head is a Christmas movie more than a Halloween movie, but it is both.
I've still never
Uh,
seen it.
really,
No.
well, it's a good one. it's good music, good claymation.
I remember we played some of it during band, like I think freshman year, and I liked the music then. I mean,
Yeah,
I know some of the stuff, like This Is Halloween, obviously, but
that
yeah,
Danny Elfman music is always
that's
good.
right. Yeah.
So, and then we watched Beetlejuice, which is another Tim Burton Danny Elfman movie.
Mm.
Which great movie. Love that movie. Hadn't seen it in a long time, but I was like, ooh, it was good. Alec Baldwin that young is weird to see though, because he was a much like leaner dude
Yeah.
back then. Didn't really look like. I just said his name, but
Did you say Alec Baldwin or just?
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah,
That's
I was gonna say I think that's who you said.
yes, yeah. He looked a lot different back then, but he's still the same voice. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, before he killed a woman, but
Yeah.
uh, but and then one that wasn't a rewatch for me. We watched the first Saw movie, which is the first
Mm.
time I'd seen that one. Um, and I knew like how it ended and like the twist at the end because of like years of watching just anything media that did a parody or like referenced Saw at all,
Right.
like Family Guy or South Park or any of those. It's like, okay, yeah, I kind of knew that was going to happen, but the rest of it, I was like, okay, I hadn't seen any of this. It was good. Uh, like weird editing choices throughout it, but like
Oh,
it wasn't
interesting.
wasn't wasn't bad. It was a good movie though. I'm probably gonna watch through those before Halloween. But we were feeling a spooky mood this week.
Mm.
Uh, what else? What else did I do? I don't think I did a whole lot else. I listened to Lucy Dacus.
Yeah.
Throughout my sick day today, I bought a new game
Oh,
that called Astrobot, which is like a
I've seen the name. I've seen the name. I don't know what that is though.
yeah. It's like a 3D platformer that's like filled with like PlayStation references and stuff like
Hmm.
that. Astrobot's it's like a PlayStation like mascot kind of guy.
Hmm.
I played through like the first little world today, and that was real fun. I had a really good time with it. It's kind of like Mario Galaxy vibes,
Oh, okay.
um, but like really really fun. Had a good time with
Mario
that.
Galaxy, but fun. Hot takes coming from Colin over
Yes, yeah. Mario Galaxy is a really terrible game.
Yeah.
But yeah, watched the presidential debate on Tuesday as well,
Oh, yes.
and we can talk about that
Or
later.
wasn't it
But
Wednesday?
I think it was Tuesday night.
Was it? Okay, it might have been.
Yeah, it was
That
Tuesday.
was
'Cause
Tuesday. Yeah, that's me. My bad.
there you go. We also had our first trip to Spirit Halloween of the season, so
There's gonna be multiple.
probably. I
All
mean,
right.
I always end up at Spirit once or twice
Okay.
in the Halloween season. So, but otherwise, just pretty much same old, same old. My older brother got engaged today.
Oh, congrats to him.
I was like, I was I was sleeping this morning, like after I had like taken a shower, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to get a little more sleep. And then, like as I was like pretty deep into it, my phone vibrating. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, what? Who's calling me? And I was like, it was my mom, and I was like, hello, and she's like, yeah, I just wanted to let you know that Garrick and his girlfriend got engaged. I was like, oh, cool, that's awesome. And she's like, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to let you know. Uh, I'll let you get back to sleeping or whatever. I was like, yeah, I got a head cold. She's like, yeah, Noah told me.
No.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. And then after that, I couldn't get back to sleep. So,
Yeah.
could have been a text, but congrats
Mm.
to my older brother. But yeah, that's basically it. How was your week, Mike?
Week was okay. Just various things happen, I guess. Um, uh, Earlier in the week, I beat Jedi Fallen Order. I suspected I was pretty close last week, and I sure was. I think I beat it like the next day or so, and yeah, really good game. I have had that like I won't spoil it here because I guess it's still a somewhat recent game. But there is a pretty big thing that happens towards the end of that game, um,
Uh,
and I have seen that clip like many times. Well, I don't want to say many times before, but I've seen it before in the past, so I knew it was coming. But still pretty cool. I like the story of it a lot, and getting to have a yellow lightsaber was pretty cool. Really added to my trench hat head cannon. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I like that. I liked it a lot. Cal's a cool character. I think I was telling my friends. I think BB-8 or not BB-8. BB-1,
BD1, yeah.
BD-1. That's it. I think he's my favorite droid. Like period in the Star Wars. I like how they like basically had him as a character and how they handled that. You know, in some of the story stuff towards the end of it, I was like, whoa, that's some cool stuff. I feel like the droids don't get fleshed out like that in this world, unless they're like, I don't remember his name, but the guy from Rogue One, the Sentry thing,
K2SO.
K2SO, yeah. Except for him, I guess. But yeah, yeah, it's a good game though. I like it. A little janky at points, um,
Yeah.
but for what it is, like it's pretty good. And I have Survivor on my wish list now, but that'll probably be a little bit before I get to that. But
Mm.
looking forward to that, and I think I've heard they're making it a trilogy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm looking forward to that too, I guess. um, but other than that, kind of been on a little bit of a fixing a sleep schedule type thing this
Uh,
week. It's been pretty bad the last like month or two, honestly, um, and really taking some measures to actually change that. Like last week, I bought a book for the first time.
oh.
I bought a Malcolm Gladwell book because I enjoyed Outliers, making me the outlier, I guess. But I think it was called something like Talking to Strangers. I didn't know what it was, but I was like Malcolm Gladwell, sure. Um, and been reading that instead of being on the screen before going to bed, and that has seemed to help a little bit
Yeah.
with various things. But doing that, and I've been feeling a little bit better this week, just energy wise, I guess, which is good. Um, but doing some self healing a little bit this week. But I started watching Atlanta a little bit.
Oh.
I realized that we had Hulu, and I was like, wait, hold on a second, isn't Atlanta on Hulu? Well, through Disney Plus, we have Hulu or something like that.
Yeah.
And sure enough, yeah, there it was. I'm like, hell yeah, let's start watching Atlanta. And very good show so far. I've only watched a few episodes, um, but it's pretty funny. I like how they pace the humor and how it's kind of got that Office style awkward humor a little bit, but just like I don't know, it's good the way it does it. Don Glover's very good in it. Have you watched any of it then? I don't remember.
Yeah, I watched. I can't remember if I finished the first season or if I watched like just a few episodes from it.
Yeah.
But I remember liking it a lot. It's got a really fucking good cast.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. I was like, dude, all these main characters I've seen like doing big projects recently.
Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield, Brian Tyree Henry, Zazie Beetz, like
Yeah,
that's a crazy fucking just group of people to have as your main characters in it.
yeah. I was just
So,
like, oh hey, it's Lemon or whatever from Bullet Train, and I was like, oh
yeah,
hey, it's that guy. I think I remember him from Knives Out. Is where I was
yeah,
recognizing him from for some reason. But yeah, yeah. No, it's good
yeah.
though. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I know John likes it. Or
Yeah, yeah,
it was telling to watch it, but
yeah, yeah. He has been telling us to do that, but now I have a means to watch it. Because I'm a little legal, uh, television consumer over here.
yeah,
But yeah, it's good though. On Tuesday, that student project that I scored a film for, or sorry, I didn't score his film. I scored a TV theme for him. He started airing that series on YouTube, and I'm gonna link that on this episode, at least the first episode. Yeah, and I think it's really good so far. He just kind of keeps improving. There's a lot of like really cool like shots and like set pieces, little like trippy things going on in this one. The acting feels a lot more natural too, and like it's cool. And I think the theme fits pretty well into it as well. I'm like, ah, I'm very proud of that theme. I've mentioned it a few times, but like just the production I did on that is one of my favorite production feats so far. At least that's been released. So yeah, go
Yeah.
check it. It's called Bleak Terminus. I don't remember if I mentioned that. And that'll be in the description. Anyone wants to check that out. Support Stu Films. Um, then the debates happened, which I assume we'll talk a little bit more about a little bit later. Um, and I watched. That's the first debate I've ever watched in real time.
Yeah.
Only because I saw Connor Eats Pants was streaming it, and for some reason that sounded really funny to watch the debate with Connor Eats Pants.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was a good time. Um, yeah, but yeah, it's the first full debate I've ever watched of presidential stuff.
Mhm.
Only because I wanted to see how Kamala did, and she did well. Um,
Yeah.
very, very well. And yeah, other than that, been uh, I- during the Steam Summer Sale from earlier in the summer, I got Fallen Order, and then I also got three of the Arkham games, like Arkham Asylum, City, and
Origin.
Origins. I think that's the last one. Yeah. All of them were like in a little pack for like $5 or something like that. It was a crazy steal.
Uh-huh.
So I started playing Asylum, which has been pretty good so far. You can definitely tell it's an older game,
Yeah.
and the controls are not optimized for PC. But it's pretty fun though so far. I've only like kind of just started touching on it, so um, yeah, gonna kind of be playing that on and off a bit. Uh, and then I had a little bit of a close call, a little bit of a scare this week,
Oh.
pregnancy scare. But we're good. Uh, I aborted it after it was birthed. Um, no, but I talked a couple weeks ago about jury duty, and how I filled out a little thing saying, "Yeah, I'm available whenever." And I got a little thing in the mail this week, and it was like, "You're scheduled to serve from September 30th through October 5th or something like that." And I was like, "Uh-oh,
Oh.
I bought some pretty expensive tickets for October 1st for a
Yeah.
concert I would very much like to go to." And I was telling my parents, I was like, "Oh shit, how the hell am I gonna do that? What's gonna happen?" And they're like, "Oh, you were able to, you know, request off for something like that, or not request off, but tell them about that, and they'll be able to I'm forgetting the word now, not divert. It's I don't know. It's some word that starts
Definitely.
with D. Basically delay. There was a more official term for it, but delay is pretty much it. You can delay your thing like once or something like that. Or you can request to do that. So I sent a request basically saying exactly what I just said, just like, "Hey, I bought some expensive tickets for the first for something." I said it was out of town, even though it wasn't. But I mean, it is out of the town we live
Yeah.
in. But yeah, and they sent me like a confirmation thing the other day, like a couple days ago, just saying like, "Yep, that's cool. We'll notify you sometime before like February or something for your new date schedule."
Oh. Okay.
So I guess now there's a chance it'll interfere with a holiday, which I don't even know if the courts are open on the holiday, so maybe that won't even happen.
Oh.
But maybe like a holiday event it could potentially interfere with. But you know what? That's fine. Those things can be worked around a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess a 21 Pilots concert can also be worked around a bit, but I've spent $200 on
No. Yeah.
that. And I really want to see the show too. So, um, but thankfully that's all good. And then today we did a little bit of. My dad's been working on a room in the basement. We did some painting in there, the three of us, which was pretty cool. It's blue. um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've done this week. Not really. I mean, kind of a hodgepodge of thing. Oh, I also did like a I felt inspired for some reason. Jacob Collier released this little he released like an official score for this choir piece that was on his last album, and I have very mixed feelings on his last album, but that choir piece has a very beautiful moments on it, and I've always loved it. And he released like the official scores for it, and I just kind of got a little inspired to transcribe it to a band piece. Turn all those choir voices into instrument voices, and yeah, I did that. And I really enjoyed how that turned out. Jacob Collier, say what you will about him, but the man knows how to make some harmonies, and I think they sounded really cool in the band setting. And I'm like how a lot of those sounds turned out. But I did that, and I posted on my little scores channel. Um, but yeah, maybe I'll link that too. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. But music, music, music. Um, yeah, yeah, that's about it for me now. But
In news,
what was that?
in news,
Yes, news,
uh,
news.
news. Uh, all of this happened on Tuesday. I'm just gonna rapid fire.
All right.
We can dive deeper into these things. Dave Grohl announces that he cheated on his wife.
Yep.
Presidential debate, and Biden said he's gonna do 9/11.
I think we should start with that one. Actually, I did want to mention that 9/11 did happen this. Oh, okay, wait. The dates of 9/11 went by this week. The anniversary.
Yes.
Is that the proper term? Anniversary. That sounds like a celebration.
Yeah. No, anniversary is it's right.
Okay. But that was the anniversary of it this year, and I don't know. Maybe this has happened the last couple years too, but this is one of the first years I basically didn't see anything about it. Like I maybe saw one like 9/11 meme, but I didn't see like anything like a never forget, always remember, all like those types of stuff. I don't think I saw that like anywhere, and maybe it's because I'm just not on social media as much nowadays. But like, no one on TikTok was doing that or any memorial or thing. And I was like, huh, that did happen this week, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the biggest thing I saw somebody post was the I think 12-year anniversary of 21 Pilots releasing their first official single with "Holding On to You," which they did
Oh,
on 9/11.
they did on 9/11. Okay.
The
The band
21
21 Pilots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great choice.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that I saw posted, really. So,
Yeah. Did that get a lot of like attention?
so what is it?
Did that get like a lot of attention, like on Twitter or whatever, wherever you saw that, or was that kind of like within the click?
Within the click, maybe,
Okay.
yeah, but yeah. But to circle back here, Dave Grohl
Yes. Yeah.
had a baby with another woman. So the guy who is like the poster child for like cool celebrities who've never done anything wrong did something wrong, and he's like,
In the world of shock.
right, and he's like, I'm trying, I love my family, I love my wife and my kids, and I'm trying my best to get their trust back. But then I saw that he hired a divorce lawyer before
Oh.
before he announced that. And also I saw a TikTok where somebody was like breaking down the fact that he has like a lie, he has a tendency to cheat on his partners.
I was gonna say I mean from after since this has been released, there were people saying that this has been a known thing that he's a little bit of a serial cheater or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like, yeah. I mean, I saw that. I was like, oh, no, not Dave Grohl. And then I was like, he's a celebrity. It makes sense.
It's one of those things. It's like, yeah, it's not cool, but it's not like a, oh my god, this is a, I don't know how to describe it.
It's not like he killed a person.
Right, or like
Something racist.
assaulted someone.
Yeah.
And like I
Yeah.
saw someone comment something like, "Well, at least he's taking care of the kid."
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah. That was something to wake up to. And then we can circle back to the presidential debate, but other
Yeah.
music news. Uh, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala.
Saw that.
And she signed it from a childless cat lady,
She's just like one of us.
just like one of us.
Yeah.
And then Elon, I don't know if you saw Elon Musk's creepy reply to that.
Thankfully not, but guess I'll hear about it.
Yeah, he saw that and he replied, "Fine, Taylor, I'll make you a mother,"
Oh,
or something like that.
Jesus.
And I'll protect the cats with my life, or something like that.
Ooh,
And it's like, Elon,
what the
what the
fuck?
fuck is? Yeah, seriously, like the creepiest thing, most out of touch thing.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense for Elon, but yeah, I saw that and I was like,
Yeah.
ooh. Kendrick Lamar, you might have heard of him. He announced that he's the halftime show for the Super Bowl
Damn
in February,
straight.
which will be fucking sick. I can't wait to hear him call Drake a pedophile in front of the most.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I've been thinking though, like, is that a bar you can drop on national television? Like, I don't know the censorship around the word pedophile.
I don't know.
I know, I'm pretty sure that gets bleeped like when Not Like Us is played on radio stations or something. So like, I don't, I do wonder about that.
I don't know. I feel like Fox News has said worse things.
Oh,
So
well, yeah, I don't. I think the news stations are a little different. I don't know how the censorship stuff works to that degree, but he could definitely say the A minor bar though. I think that one
yeah,
can fly.
yeah. But that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
He also dropped a surprise new track on Instagram Reels,
Yep.
which I didn't listen to all of, but I heard the gist of it.
Mhm.
If you wanna give your thoughts on it.
I mean, I don't really have too much thoughts to give other than like it's good. It's kind of like this meditative track a bit about like the music industry right now. I think people are mostly connecting it to what the rap game is right now, because I think people were calling the song "Watch the Party Die," with the party referring to music like Drake's or so, where it's just party music for hip hop and like basically saying being a little fundamentalist, like we need to get back to the real hip hop without saying it in those exact words. You know what I mean? I think generally that's what I've seen from it. Like it's a good track. It's nothing like mind blowing for me personally. It's just like, yeah, it's a nice solid beat, very contemplative of him wanting to, you know, rebirth the rap game a little bit, because he's the only person who can rap like that and not sound corny as hell doing it. But yeah, it was good. People, oh, excuse me, were also wondering if this is like the Heart Part 6, but not titled that. Well, it doesn't really even have a title, so it could just straight up be the Heart Part 6 from Kendrick. I know John was talking about that. I've seen that
Yeah.
theory floated a few other places too, which it does kind of feel like that. But it was good. Yeah, I don't got too much to say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, saw Magdalena Bay was on Turning the Tables.
Yes, yeah, they were.
Didn't watch that, but
It's a good interview. Yeah.
yeah.
They Turning the Tables really liked Imaginal Disc. Like Kevin the father, he was saying that he loves the pop acts that his son's been showing him, like Charlie XCX or Chapel Roan or something, but like that Magdalena Bay was the first time in a long time that he's like felt that strongly about music. And I was like, hell yeah. He gets it.
I love that.
Yep.
Um, the VMAs were also this week.
Speaking of
Taylor,
Chapel Roan.
yes.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift won way too many VMAs for Fortnite. I think 7.
Wow.
I want to say.
I didn't even know you could win those for video games.
I didn't either, but
Yeah.
hey, here we are. And then, yeah, as you were saying, Chapel Roan, she was on the carpet for where they take pictures and stuff leading up to the event, and some photographer I saw he was known for being kind of an asshole over the years on that carpet.
I think a lot of
He
them
was
are, but yes,
yes, but like one that is
particularly.
outwardly an asshole.
Yeah, an outward asshole. Yeah.
Yes, he he was just like she was talking to one of her people, and he was like, "Shut the fuck up." And Chappell was like, "You shut the fuck up,
Mm-hmm.
not me, bitch."
Yep.
I was like, "Oh, love that."
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the discourse was like, "Is she ever happy? Is she like why is she? Why does she even want to be a celebrity if she is like this?" I was
Yeah.
like, "She's just standing up for herself."
Thankfully,
Like,
I don't see those parts of the arguments anymore.
yeah,
I just see the people being like, yeah, that more people need to be doing that.
yeah, yeah. She stands up for herself and
Yeah.
doesn't let people put her down. It's not like she's obviously happy to be there. She's got a big performance coming up, and she won one of the VMAs. So it's like it's not like this is something she doesn't want to be doing. But if you're gonna be an asshole, you're gonna ruin it for everybody.
Right.
So it's go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But happy to see her win one. I think Sabrina Carpenter won one for Espresso as well.
Cool.
But yeah, way too many wins for Fortnite though.
Too many Fortnite dubs. That's a problem. It's a problem we all got.
It's so true.
Yeah.
But and then 21 Pilots posted something that seemed like a promotional thing or
No.
like a lead up to something the other day that was just like a picture of them with what looked like lyrics on the screen. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, what is this? Is this lore? Is this a new single coming out?" And then it just turned out that they're going to be on the Arcane season 2 soundtrack.
Yeah. I mean, that
With
is a new song.
yeah, it is. It's called The Line. It's coming out
Line,
whenever.
Line. It kind of sounds like lion a little bit, but yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
The Line. Um, and it'll be coming out whenever Arcane season 2 comes out. So
Sick.
we'll have that to talk about.
Oh, the
Uh,
misery.
oh, the misery! I just hope it's a remix of that song or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna get jit on it.
Yeah. I can't wait for the JIT feature.
Um, and then there were a couple new singles this week as well. There was a new Weekend single
Mm.
uh, titled
Something about the darkness. Oh man, I forgot it too. Dancing in the Flames.
"Dancing in the Flames," and I think that it sounds like Dawn FM or anything that could have been on Dawn FM or not Blinding Lights After Hours. Um, I think it's good. I mean, I like this style for the weekend. I'm happy to see it continue, but it could have gone with something a little more different sounding, in my opinion.
Yeah, I personally wasn't a huge fan of it, honestly. I I don't know. I mean, Dawn FM I'm kind of mixed on in general. And this kind of feels like the most extreme parts of Dawn FM a little bit. Like it's like very synth poppy. It's very poppy in general, which is fine to an extent because like I mean I love like Blinding Lights. I don't know, something about this one though. It's kind of the synth pop 80s flair that I think is kind of like ew. Like I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it's bad or anything, but I thought it was just really really run of the mill. Like I just wasn't a huge fan personally.
Yeah, that's how I felt as well when I was listening to it. I like Dawn FM.
Yeah, I felt kind of crazy when sorry I interrupted you there, but
You're good.
I felt kind of crazy there because album of the year had it at like an 80. I think it still is about
Yeah.
an 80, and I was like, what the hell am I listening to the same thing? What's going on? Yeah.
I don't,
What were you saying though? I'm sorry.
I don't know. I was just saying that I like Dawn FM, so like I like that sound, and if that's the sound that's going to be prevailing through the last chapter of the story or whatever, that's fine with me. But like I said, I kind of wish it was something a little more out of the box, something a little different than
Yeah.
we've already done. But we'll see how the album turns out. I don't know
Yeah.
when it's coming out, but
I don't know if he set a release date yet.
I don't think
But
so. But
yeah.
and then the other one that I saw come out was the new Phineas single "Cleats,"
Oh.
which it was good. It's like a song about I think a high school relationship or something. It seemed like But you know, it's okay. It's not as good as the first single you dropped, but
For crying
I
out
like
loud.
the
Yeah.
yeah. I like the music video for it. It's kind of funny. He's just like a little version of himself, like in a room watching this thing in the past that went down, but he's just like a
Mm.
little hanging out. But you know, it's an alright song. Not nearly. I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as for crying out loud, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm still interested in that album when it comes out. Which is I think you said 3 weeks.
Oh,
So
okay. Cool.
yeah,
There's
that's
a
cool.
quite a few things. Is that the fourth?
I think so.
Yeah, there's I know the Jordy Griep drops that day, and there was something else dropping that day too that I forgot. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I forgot what else there was too, but
yeah. Clipping dropped a new song as well, uh, called "Run It." And it's kind of like it's kind of got like a dance beat to it a little bit. Really up tempo, Davi just flowing over, you know, experimental dance type stuff. It's pretty cool. I wouldn't say like I like love it, but I do think it's really good. Really fun to listen to. I was seeing some people say that this is a lead single for an album, but nowhere was like confirming that. I don't see anything about album stuff on album of the year, so I don't know about that. But the single's cool though so far. I like it.
cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I didn't even know that dropped, but
Yeah,
would love a new album from Clipping though.
me too. It's been since 2020, I believe.
Yeah. So you know, get on it, David,
David and friends.
David and the Whites.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
get on it. Uh, that's all I have music wise. You got anything else music wise?
I don't have anything else music wise. A couple other world news things though. James Earl Jones passed away this week. Voice of Darth Vader and Mufasa. But apparently, behind the scenes, he was a big industry person in general. I honestly don't really know too much about his background stuff, but I was seeing a whole bunch of celebrities talk about just how wonderful of a person he was, and how you know inspiring and positive he was as a force behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. So definitely a legend that passed away.
Yes. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw work when that was announced, and my one manager, she was like, "Darth Vader, Mufasa died," and I was like, at first I was like, "Are those like pets or something?" And I was like, "Oh, you mean James?"
Yeah,
I was
just your pets, just your pets.
"Oh, that sucks."
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was he was 93, so he had a good
Yeah,
run.
it's kind of one of those. It's like, yeah, it's sad, but not necessarily unexpected.
No,
Yeah. Um, there was that, and then what was the other thing? Oh, there was confirmed things for Beyond the Spider-Verse, the next Spider-Verse movie.
yeah.
Apparently, it was almost completely scrapped, and is now delayed until 2027 at the earliest, which is just
I
like,
saw that.
uh-oh.
I saw that, and then I saw it be debunked by the director. So
Oh, it was? Oh, okay.
yeah,
I didn't see that part. I was fooled. I was rused.
you're good. I was fooled for a second too, and then I saw the director. He was like, "No, these stills are looking good to me so far." So I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you for the real-time fact checked.
You're good. I mean, you like the presidential debate. It's all
Hmm.
good.
Hmm.
Um,
Which, speaking of,
speaking of, yes. Segue.
hmm,
Yeah, watched that real time as well. Um, wow, Trump. Wow.
yeah, he did so good.
Yeah, that's the best tweet I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Uh, he went from talking about quote unquote illegal aliens getting transgender surgeries in prison,
Hmm.
to talking about Haitian immigrants eating people's pets.
They're eating the dogs.
They're eating the dogs, the cats.
Yeah.
All while Kamala was giving very funny reactionary faces
Hmm.
uh, the whole time. And then spitting, and then the the fucking moderators were like, "Yeah, so that was proven false." And he's like, "Well, I saw it on TV."
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, come on.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, like I said, I haven't watched a full one of those before, but I've seen clips before, and it's just so nice to hear a level-headed opponent against him,
Yeah,
like just someone who speaks as a normal person would
yeah,
to these ridiculous things that he's just saying out loud and presenting to the country. It's just that was definitely refreshing for sure.
yes. And it's also like it's really funny to hear him go. She's been in the White House for 3 years. Why hasn't she done anything?
Yeah,
Any of the things that she wants to do? Why isn't she, gone and done these things that she's, talking so much about what she wants to do? But it's like, dude, you were president for 4 years. You know how little power the vice president actually fucking has.
yeah. How much power do you think he gave Mike Pence?
Seriously. Vice president is just there to like break ties in the Senate and go to funerals and meet with big people from other countries. Like that's all the vice president's
And
really there for.
possibly be president in the event of a
Yes.
tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, come on. And then also just, he's like, they're gonna take your guns. And she's like, I'm a gun owner. Tim Walz is a gun owner.
Yeah.
We're not taking anybody's guns. Which I was like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
And then also the whole thing, her stance on Gaza or Palestine and Israel. Not my favorite thing, but also pretty much what I expected from her.
It's not like Trump's is going to be any better.
No, no, no.
Dude, oh my god, when he said something like if I were president this wouldn't have even happened. I was like, "Oh my
Yeah,
god, there's a lot of things wrong with that statement."
yeah. He said that about Russia and Ukraine too, and it's like,
That's
what the
right.
fuck would you have done,
That
bro?
that one I maybe slightly would agree with potentially just because he's such butt buddies with Putin, but
I don't even.
it's hard to
I
tell.
don't like. There was that thing that came out where he was said that he was talking to Putin, and he was like, "You can't do it, Putin. And you got to do this instead." And Putin said, "No way." And I said, "Way."
Putin said, "No way, Jose."
Um,
The famous Russian phrase. Um,
yes, very, very, very Russian,
yeah,
very known to be that way.
yeah.
But
What's that?
yeah, Republicans very upset that like it seemed to be like a. They said it was a 3-on-1 fight with
Mm,
Trump, but it's like he was spewing false claims and being fact checked real time. It wasn't like he wasn't. Kamala wasn't. Kamala wasn't. Spewing straight up lies on live television to 60 plus million people.
yeah,
She didn't really need to be fact checked,
exactly.
but and then after he got the final word, and instead of using that time to say what he would do for the people, how he would make America great again, he just went on a whole tirade about how Kamala hasn't done any of the things that she wants to do while she's been in the White House, and how she's gonna make America worse.
Yep.
So about what I expected, but wow, he's really delving into really Hitler Nazi eugenics type shit with this whole immigrants thing.
Yep.
It's really concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Not new, but still saying those kinds of things on live television to 60 million people is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the sad part about it isn't necessarily him saying it, which is sad, but also just the people who will eat up what he is saying.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the truly concerning part. But yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
Sorry,
yeah,
I
go ahead.
just lest we forget the classic. So you don't have a plan. I have concepts of a plan.
Yes,
I'm not president right now. Which I think just sums up a lot of things beautifully in one sentence.
yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
That was about his plan to create a better plan than Obamacare or what is the Affordable Care Act now.
Right. Something
Um,
he promised like uh what was it again? 10 years ago? I don't know.
Almost
More.
10 years ago, yeah.
Yep.
He said he was going to create a better plan, one that's never done anything better for more people. and he didn't do that while he was president. He still doesn't have a plan for it, but he has concepts, and that
and
has my
Kamala's yes, exactly. And Kamala is the one who's not doing anything in the White House.
yeah. But then after the debate, he went into the media room, which is called the spin room,
Oh.
and just to like try and help his case and like talk to interviewers and be like, yeah, see, this is what I meant, and that I think I won and all this, and just looked really desperate, but
Yeah.
really funny, really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping the country has somewhat of a brain come November.
Me
Um,
too.
but I'm hoping that because I was even seeing at least from some of the stuff that came up for me, the conservatives were even saying like, yeah, he definitely lost that debate. Like
Yeah,
they were even acknowledging that. So it's like, okay, maybe we're. I mean, wishful thinking for this group of people, but hopefully,
yeah.
hopefully it's opening some of their eyes a little bit.
No, yeah. I definitely think that, like Kamala was saying, she has like there's like 200 or something Republican leaders that have been like, yeah, we're not voting for that guy. We don't
Yeah.
want that guy.
Hmm.
So
I
you know,
fired all of them. Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
oh, what a fucking loser.
Hmm.
But and also he refused to fucking say that he lost the election again, and also claimed that he had nothing to do with January 6th and all that. Still, yeah, no, he's never gonna admit to any of that. But
Yep.
uh, just please go vote for Kamala in November, people, please.
Pretty please. I think anyone who's listening to this episode, especially if they're coming in as a Lucy Dacus fan, is already going to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. Speaking of, I mean, I don't have anything else to talk about. If you want to head in,
No, we are good to head in.
all right. Well, yeah. This week we did a little album listening of Lucy Dacus's projects. One third of Boy Genius, singer songwriter, rock, rock person, star. I don't know what
Yeah,
to. She delves into
singer,
rock.
songwriter, rock, pop,
Yeah,
folk.
yeah. A little bit of everything. Extraordinaire Lucy Dacus. And yeah, we listened to three of her albums. Last week I had mentioned an EP, but that was spur of the moment, and then I did a little more looking into them. Like, oh, that's just a bunch of covers. So I personally didn't feel like doing a covers EP for this. So we just stuck to the three core albums, wrote down some of our thoughts, and talked about them. And then we will talk about them with each other and rank them all at the end and just all that good stuff. Reviewing Lucy Dacus.
Oh,
Yeah. You
yeah.
want to kick it off?
Sure. Well, but what's your experience with
Oh,
Lucy Dacus prior to this?
oh, thank you for asking. I actually and hopefully I don't repeat myself too much once I get to my reviews, but I actually do have a little bit more of a history with her than I really thought. I haven't heard her first album at all, but I have listened to both Historian and Home Video like multiple times, like when they came out. Um,
Mm,
and I guess I'll talk a little bit more about that as I get there. But they're kind of albums that I listened to, saved some songs, but didn't really return to the whole thing. Um,
okay.
but I'll save further thoughts for once we get there. But how about for you though? What's your experience?
Yeah, I listened to Home Video a little while ago now. I don't know how long, whether it was a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Um, but I only listened to it like that one time throughout the week when I did, and I enjoyed it, but I haven't really returned to it. Otherwise, my main exposure to her is Boy Genius, which if you were around last year, you know how much I love that album.
Yes.
So um, yeah, so two out of the three albums I had never heard other than the song Night Shift, which
Mm.
I had heard. But yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, feel free to take it away.
All right. Well, in 2016, we start with her debut album, No Burden, and said this is about what I expected from Lucy's debut, just with more rock and blues influence throughout than I was expecting. I think this shows that she's always had a knack for songwriting because the lyrics during the runtime of this record are really damn good. I really like the drive of the guitars and the drums throughout this album, uh, even if at times it makes some songs a bit samey. Uh, Lucy's vocals are absolutely stunning, and I really enjoy the running theme of not wanting to be stuck in one spot, wanting to be someone else, or like a different archetype throughout the songs on this album as well. Um, Also, a callback to the continued storytelling. Oh yeah, also the continued storytelling of Dream State and Familiar Place at the end was cool as well. But overall, very solid debut. I think it just needed a couple more standout moments, in my opinion. But it is about what I expected. Just I wasn't super ready for like rocky, bluesy type stuff, but I wasn't mad at it. Uh, and my favorites were Map on a Wall, I Don't Want to Be Funny Anymore, Green Eyes, Red Face, uh, is that Direct Address?
Uh,
Dreams.
oh, sorry. I don't have it pulled up. I don't know what it is.
I think it's Direct. I
Okay.
think that's what it is. And I also like Dream State and Familiar Place. And my least favorite was Strange Torpedo. And overall, I gave it a decent 7.
Cool. Yeah, so like I was saying, this is my only new Lucy Dacus album, No Burden, from 2016. But I was a little surprised by the semi like lo-fi nature on this one. It's not like completely lo-fi, but I felt like it had like some really stripped back elements to it that I thought were really fascinating to hear. Was surprised by. She's always leaned a little bit more into that good rock sound, but I kind of like how calm and collected the nature of this project is. It feels very appropriate for fall, kind of the season we're going into, and the album cover also suggests a fall feeling to it. Um,
Mm.
but I think this album highlights one of my biggest criticisms of Lucy, from what I remember, though. She's like a phenomenal writer, as you were touching on. On a lyrical end, she's really great, but I think her songwriting just doesn't always do it for me, like the songs themselves. I won't lie, for this first listen, I was sort of on and off with looking at the lyrics while listening. And when I was focused on the words, I was really enjoying what she was saying. But whenever I focused a little bit more on the actual music, it would fall a little bit more to the wayside for me here. I think this album in particular is produced in a nice, consistent manner, and her voice sounds really nice as always too. I like her vocals a lot. Um, I just don't find too much of it to stick out on a musical end. That's not to say it's bad. Bad, bad. That's not to say it's bad. It's actually very consistently good and pleasant on the ears, with only one track being a little repetitive for my taste on here. I just wish there were more aspects I enjoyed as much as I enjoy the lyrics, because I do love how she writes. And for the record, for these next two albums, I'm hoping to change my mind on this stance. It's not something I have set in stone, but just something I've noticed while casually listening to her albums. But yeah, this one's good. I do like it. My favorites were Map on a Wall, Troublemaker Doppelganger, which is also a great song name, Dream States, and Green Eyes, Red Face. And my least favorites were Strange Torpedo and Familiar Place. And overall, I gave it a light 7.
Nice.
Cool. Sorry, forewarning, I did write a little bit for this one.
You're
Um,
good.
all right, next album, 2 years later, 2018, we have Historian. As I've mentioned before, I actually have a bit of history with this record, no pun intended. Back in 2018, I got my first real spur to explore like newly released music, and I don't exactly remember how I came upon this album, but somehow I ended up listening to it because I liked the album cover a lot. I do like that black and red color combo, and that just struck my eye at the time, so I listened to it. Unbeknownst to me at the time, this would end up being my first exposure to any One Boy Genius related, even though I would be a bit more into Phoebe by the time I found out about Boy Genius. But anyways, I remember listening to this record quite a few times back then, but I only saved 3 songs from it. And those 3 were the only ones that I was still familiar with on this re listen. But honestly, I was missing out on a lot back then. This record rocks pretty hard. While the last project had a little bit of a lighter tone sonically, this album is not afraid to like kick up the distortion and build to some nice musical climaxes. I felt Lucy was a stronger songwriter this time around too, with some really nice melodic hooks on a lot of these tracks. I will say some of the deeper cuts can still feel a little underwhelming to me when it comes to like melodies and stuff like that, but the production really helps them still shine through. I've been hearing Night Shift on TikTok a lot recently, so I guess that's good timing on our part to do this episode. But even though this is one of the 3 tracks I had previously saved back in 2018, I grew a new appreciation for it this time around when we were listening to it. It's a great track that builds beautifully, and Lucy really owns the spotlight on this one in particular, I feel like. But I've always had a deep love for Time Fighter. This track has legitimately been in my rotation since 2018, and I still love it every single time it comes on for these past oh god 6 years. um I'm actually surprised I haven't brought it up on this pod that much before, except for maybe in our every artist ever video when we ranked our favorite songs by every artist. I'm pretty sure I chose Time Fighter during then. But man, this is just like a perfect track to me. I love that song. I even found some newfound love for like Body to Flame, which goes a little Baroque pop, and Addictions I liked a lot too, which is just catchy as hell. I've been talking a lot of positive on this one, but unfortunately, I do think the record still drags just a little bit for me. The highlights are fantastic, but I'm not always into every track, even if they're still produced pretty well on here. But overall, I really enjoyed returning to this album, and I need to keep this whole thing in my rotation a little bit more. Um, my favorites are Time Fighter, Night Shift, Body to Flame, Addictions, and Historians. My least favorites are Non Believer and The Shell, and overall I give it a decent 8.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Historian 2018. It said, damn, this is astronomically better than Lucy's debut. First off, starting with a 6-minute banger like Night Shift is such a cool move. But for the rest of the album to have such beautiful production, killer instrumentals, and Lucy's gorgeous vocals on top of it, all makes this album come together so beautifully to me. I think the songwriting is a hell of a lot better, and Lucy does what she's so fucking good at, which is storytelling, even more here. These songs also impressed me in the fact that even if I wasn't absolutely loving them at the beginning, as they built toward the middle and the end, they just got better and better, and they like completely flip flopped what I had been thinking earlier on in the song, which like goes for a lot of the. I wouldn't say a lot of the tracks, but a good few. I was like, I'm not super loving this, but then all of a sudden something cool would happen. I'd be like, okay, never mind. Um, uh, but as I said earlier, these instrumentals are really fucking good. Those rock and blues influences are still around. And then there were some like strings that were added at parts that were really cool as well. But I think this record is absolutely fantastic in almost every way. But I will say the closer was a bit weak in my opinion. Otherwise, though, really fucking good. My favorites were Night Shift, Time Fighter, Body to Flame, Non-Believer, Next of Kin, Addictions, and Pillar of Truth. And my least favorite was Historian. I gave this one a decent 9.
Cool. Wow. Cool.
Yeah, I really love this record.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, that one caught me by surprise. I had seen this album cover and I was like, that's a really cool album cover. I didn't realize it was Lucy until probably this week.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really, really good album in my opinion. But
Cool.
up next we got Home Video from 2021. I said this record is so cool. The way that Lucy tells the stories in these songs, like chapters in a book or like scenes in a movie, giving insight into her life, her relationships throughout her time, and how they've affected her is really cool to me. But on top of the stories, delving into different styles and production choices was another super cool way of telling these stories and displaying what these chapters were like for her. Um, I had listened to this album a bit ago, but it had been a while. So when it was a little more poppy at the beginning, I was sad, but then it started to sink in that it would continue to change, and I and I appreciated it more. Um, I really like this album and how Lucy delivers all these stories, but I don't think it's as good as Historian. But that doesn't mean it's bad. I still really like this record, and I think it does a lot of cool things. One of my favorite parts was Partners in Crime. I liked the way her vocals were like vocoded a little
Oh
bit.
yes, yeah,
I really liked that part, and also one of the highlights of the storytelling. And the first Lucy Dacus song I had heard because of you from the podcast was Thumbs.
yeah,
Fucking scary, but really fucking good
yeah.
storytelling and imagery. But my favorites were Thumbs, Partners in Crime, Please Stay, VBS, Hot and Heavy, First Time, and Brando. And my least favorite was Going, Going, Gone. And I gave this one a solid 8.
Cool. Yeah, home video 2021. I feel like this album encapsulates both everything I love about Lucy Dacus, while simultaneously displaying some of her biggest issues for me. And let me stress that again, for me, my biggest issues. I did a similar thing to this album in 2021 that I did with Historian in 2018. I listened to it a few times when around when it released. I saved a few tracks and just kind of revisited those tracks from time to time, and not really the full album since 2021. But unlike Historian, surprising me a little bit on revisit, this one more or less felt a little bit the same to me as I felt about it in 2021. Home video takes a bit more of like an ambient approach and like simplistic take to the rock production, which I think holds both strengths and weaknesses for the album. On one hand, it can really aid her writing and bring attention to some of like the haunting storytellings on tracks like Thumbs you were talking about. And Triple Dog Dare I think has a kind of a not to the same like visceral sense, but has a little bit of a haunting story to it too that I thought was really cool. But I think the ambient production can also just as easily tank some of the tracks that I just don't get as invested in. And it kind of makes them pretty forgettable in comparison for some of the deep cuts. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword for me on here. But some of the more upbeat moments, like Hot and Heavy and First Time, stuck out a little bit more to me on this listen than they did on the last one. And I think this record generally has a nice flow and everything is very pleasant on the ears, even if I don't get fully captured by it. So this one's a bit of a positive mixed bag for me, with really great highlights padded out with other decently chill tracks. Yeah, my favorites on here were Thumbs, Triple Dog Dare, Hot and Heavy, Please Stay, and First Time. And my least favorites were Going, Going, Gone, Christine, and Cartwheel. And overall, I give it a decent 7.
Cool. All right.
Cool. All right. Overall thoughts. Yeah, I said Lucy Dacus certainly has a solid formula going for herself, and I find that extremely commendable. Having a strong lyrical focus is something that a lot of listeners look for in artists, and I think she is an incredible writer that we're lucky to be seeing in the pop rock scene right now. I just personally get a little mixed on some of the musical executions. I say mixed, but what I really mean is she has made some fantastic tracks that bring her formula to its absolute pinnacle. And I will always love hearing those songs. But roughly like half of her catalog can just feel slightly tedious to me, just very slightly. I don't connect with everything personally, and while she is a great vocalist and has a demanding presence, I think the memorability of her deep cuts makes me hard to say I love everything that she does. But simultaneously, I can completely understand how someone else would love everything she does. She brings a unique flavor to this I guess like sad indie girl type sound. And she shines on her own, or she shines even during group projects like Boy Genius. She shines on her own during there. Like she's got a great thing going for her. So I get it, but she's just not always my thing. But when she is, ooh, it's some good ass shit. Um, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's yeah, the overall thoughts.
Well, all right. Well, my overall thoughts are Lucy Dacus is a great and super underrated artist, in my opinion. The storytelling she's been capable of doing since her first record is super impressive and has only gotten better since then, and even shows up within Boy Genius as well, which is great. I had a really good time with this discography, and I think that as we get into these later months of the year, she'll be able to supply me with a great soundtrack,
Mm.
as you were saying earlier. But I'm also happy to see more from her soon. It has been a good few years since home video,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also looking forward to whatever stories she wants to tell, and how and what styles of music she wants to put those stories to. But overall, really like this discography. I do think that some of the deeper cuts are going to get lost in the fold, but like as you were saying, when it's good, it's really fucking good. Uh, yeah, I just love her storytelling, and yeah, I think definitely a few standout tracks are going to be within my rotation for a good while. But yeah, really like this one. My album ranking is Historian, Home Video, and No Burden, and I gave her a decent 8 overall.
Cool. My ranking is the same: Historian, Home Video, No Burden, and I gave her a decent to strong 7.
Right.
Yeah, cool.
All
Yeah,
right.
I enjoyed this quite a bit too. Now now Julian Baker is the only Boy Genius member I'm not up to date with, but I think she only has the one album, doesn't she?
I don't know. Let me check.
I'm gonna check real quick because if she does have the one album, then I think you are fully caught up to speed. Let's see. Oh, never mind. She has 3. Oh, she has
Okay.
3. Is she on the wheel?
She's not, but she
Yeah,
could be.
she definitely could be. um, but yeah, cool. Uh,
Cool.
shout out Lucy Dacus, really good.
Uh,
Did you say
uh,
something? Right? Oh, okay. Sorry, you like glitched out for a sec. Cool. Well, I don't think I have anything else to talk about. We can transition into song of the week if we would like.
Alrighty. Sounds good to me.
Cool. Well, you are up first.
All right. Well, I was gonna pick a song, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna pick it, so I don't want to steal that from you. So I'm gonna go with "Night Shift" by Lucy Dacus.
Cool.
So I'll take the night shift.
All right, that was "Night Shift" by Lucy Dacus. What'd you think, Mike?
That's a fantastic song right there. Like I said, that was one of the ones I saved back in 2018. But I think now that I can actually relate to the song a little bit more, it just hits even harder.
Uh,
Because I mean, for context, back when I listened to that song, I remember thinking that first line, the first time I tasted someone else's spit or whatever, hearing that being like, ew. That was my mindset when I heard that first in 2018. Um, but I really like how that song builds. I think she does great vocally throughout the entire thing too. Like she just, I don't know, her performance hits a little different on this one than it does on other ones. Um, and also I just wanted to highlight the lyrics in the last little bit. The in 5 years, I hope the songs feel like covers dedicated to new lovers. That also hits me personally on a completely new level nowadays than it
yeah,
did back then. But yeah, no, it's a phenomenal song. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a really, really, really good opener for an album. Also, just like it's 6.5 minutes, and it's devastating throughout. Just like listening to her talk about this relationship that you know, she doesn't want to see this person so bad that she's working throughout the night just to not have a chance of seeing them.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. But yeah, I really like the lyrics. I love the distortion at the end,
Oh yeah.
or like her belting those notes out at the end as well. But yeah, I really love that track. Really, really good, and it makes sense why it's her most streamed song by far.
Yeah.
But yeah, love that track. But what you got, Mike?
Well, as you probably predicted, and I graciously thank you for allowing me, allowing me to do, I'm going to go with a favorite song of mine for a while now, which is "Time Fighter" by Lucy Dacus. All right, that was "Time Fighter" by Lucy Dacus. What did you think of that, Colin?
Yeah, like I really love that track as well, as I was almost gonna pick it. But yeah, what really caught my attention in my first listen through was just the instrumental on that track. I really love the driving rock and like the solos and stuff on that one. I think it's really cool alongside like just how kind of low key Lucy's vocals are throughout most of that track. She's not like singing as hard as she does on Night Shift or anything, but just like the way that she's singing about the passage of time and everything throughout that track, just really cool. On top of those guitars and drums and everything. But yeah, really like that track, and I do not blame you for having that as your favorite of hers in general.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you just said as well. I love all those aspects. I think this is genuinely like a perfect song to me. Like, I mean, it's for something that I've been actually listening to, like genuinely been in my rotation since 2018. Like, I think I kind of have to at that point. I was even thinking during the listening, I'm like, I think this actually might just be my favorite Boy Genius related track. Like some of Phoebe's get pretty close, but I think this might just be my favorite up there. I don't know. I love the energy of this song. I love all the guitar lines that are going on throughout the entire thing. Just they all sound so good, and the whole thing just flows together in this natural way. I think is really cool, and the big climax towards the end, just being completely instrumental and guitar driven or whatever. It's just so good, and I think Lucy. I haven't like thought deeply about the song in a while. But like when you said that she sings a little bit more reserved down here, it's like, that's true. And I kind of like how that contrast. I like the contrast of the quiets and the louds on this track. And she's
Yeah,
just kind of like this pretty calm pillar in the middle of it, honestly. But then the instrumental is just going insane at the end of it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's just very controlled, very thought out. I just love this track. It's very good.
it
Um,
is fan.
but yeah, cool.
Cool.
Well, Lucy Dacus, very, very great artist. You've got a new 9 out of 10 for you.
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Shout
Um,
out.
Shout out Lucy. Yeah, I hope she has another one coming not too long from now too. Because I do want to, I want to have a 9 out of 10 from her as well. I think it's completely possible. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
kind of crazy how Phoebe's the only boy genius that doesn't have a third album.
yeah, yeah, I think yeah, she's the only one with two. I mean, I guess Boy Genius itself only has two as well. So
Yeah.
actually, I think they only have one. I think the first one's an
Yeah.
EP. Oh well. Anyways, but yeah, sick. You got anything else to add for this week?
Nah, my voice is kind of going, so.
Yeah. I'll help you out by doing the outro.
Yeah.
But sorry, hiccup. Yeah, cool. Well, if you're listening on streaming services, thank you very much. We love you very much.
Love you
Um,
to death.
love you to death, as we always say. But you can come on over to YouTube. We're under the same name, BrokeN Boys, capital N BOIS. You can see our beautiful profile pictures. I've still got Josh staring over his symbol. And Colin, oh, I meant to ask you, what's your reference this week?
Well, I saw a tweet where somebody said that they said Jesus Christ's name like a Sonic the Hedgehog character, where they said Jesus the Christ, and then somebody created a Sonic fan art of Jesus as like a Sonic art style. So
Wow,
that's Jesus the Christ.
that is beautiful. um, Let me tell you, audio listeners, you got to see this shit. So come come on over to YouTube. under the same name. And you can see these beautiful profile pictures. And yeah, in the description you can find more stuff. First, links to those things I mentioned before, the Bleak Terminus episode 1, and then I'll put the transcription there too, a little band transcription that I enjoyed making this week. But at the top of the playlist, at the top of the description, you'll have links to Song of the Week playlists. That segment we just did for Lucy Dacus there. We do that every week. We do a Song of the Week every week. Artist analysis weeks we do the artist that we analyzed for the songs. So yeah, you can find Time Fighter by Lucy Dacus or Night Shift by Lucy Dacus in there. You can find Thumbs by Lucy Dacus as well. I had that pretty early on in the podcast at this point now. I had that as a Song of the Week. But you can find all those plus so much more. You can find Phoebe in there. You can find Boy Genius in there. Great stuff. Yeah. Go check those out. There's 3 playlists. There's one for me. There's one for Colin. One for both of us combined. So
Very important.
yes, that is very important details. If you get confused why there's 3 of them, that's why there's 3 of them. For me, I make music more than just little band transcriptions. I make, pop rock ish music ish under the name Plaintive. And I got that link down below under. They got Spotify and Apple Music down there, but I'm definitely blah, 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 my brain. I'm pretty much anywhere you get music from, but those 2 I think are the ones that are linked. And I got music coming soon, so check those out. Catch up on your Plaintive lore. Hell yeah. Got YouTube down there, got TikTok, got Album of the Year, where you can find these Lucy Dacus reviews. They will be up there by the time this episode's up. And my Instagram too, I think. As for my proximity to you, dear viewer, if you think of, for the album cover home video by Lucy Dacus, the perspective of that image is actually me. So it's supposed to be mirroring what I see, Lucy Dacus in the theater just staring back at me. Maybe that's you, the viewer. And the whole thing is from my perspective. I'm being a little loud in the theater and getting some judgmental looks thrown back at me during the home videos. So that's me.
By our viewer, Lucy Dacus.
Yes, yeah, our viewer Lucy Dacus. That's you. So we're doing some role play this week. Yeah, that is me. For Colin, he runs our socials. He runs our TikTok page, where we post little funny videos of us that we do on this podcast, and he runs our X page, Twitter page, where he updates when videos are posted. Go check those out, give him some love. But he's got some personal stuff too. He also has an Album of the Year page where he rates and reviews music. He's got a Letterboxd page where he rates and reviews movies. Any new things for those horror movies you watched this week?
We got the Saw review up there. Didn't review Beetlejuice or Nightmare Before Christmas, but I did rate them. So
all right, go check out those ratings and review. Singular. And he also has an album review Instagram page. Woo! What is your proximity to our dear viewer, Colin?
Well, as we're in the theater, I'm also going to be noticing that there's some noise coming from behind. And I'm a couple rows in front of Lucy, or the viewer, here. I'm going to look back and be like, why the fuck? And then I'm going to realize that just behind me is Lucy Dacus of Boy Genius, and go, holy shit.
It's Lucy Dacus of Boy Genius.
Of Boy Genius. And I'm going to be like, oh my god, I love your music. Can we get a selfie or something? And you're going to also, from afar, be like, holy shit, that's Lucy Dacus of Boy Genius. And you're going to make your way down there. And even though you were being a bit of a nuisance, she's going to find it in her heart to forgive you. And as we are all big fans of movies and Boy Genius, we're all going to come together in a hug. And this is where I'm going to turn off the fact that it's Lucy Dacus and say that it's the viewer,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't really want to be making out next to Lucy Dacus's ear,
Yeah.
because I feel like that's a little pushing boundaries, but not for the
Yeah.
viewer because I asked for it.
Exactly.
As we're all coming together and hugging in our love of movies, home videos, and Boy Genius, we're gonna be hugging. I'm gonna see Mike, and through my sickness, I'll be like, "Is this okay?" And you'll be, "Yes, of course.
Mhm.
Who cares?"
Yeah.
And
COVID schmovid. Yeah.
yeah, fuck it. 6
Yeah.
feet apart. Who cares?
Yeah.
But we're gonna engage in a nice long kiss as Night Shift plays in the background. And yeah, we're gonna make out next to our viewer's ear as we embrace in what we like to call the love cage. And if you'd like your very own love cage, all you've got to do, dear viewer, is drop your address in the comments below. We'll find you. You won't know when, you won't know where, but we will find you and give you your very own love cage.
Mhm.
So yeah, drop your addy and get your own love cage today.
Yeah. Or tomorrow, or the day after. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
That's the point. But yes, yeah. Well, thank you, dear viewer. Hope you enjoyed that description as well as our episode on Lucy Dacus. Everyone give love to Colin and hope he feels better for next week. Oh, just even tomorrow. But, yeah, we'll do a bracket of some sort next week. So
Yep.
cool.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.